Oh, hey. So 21 days is up. Let me tell you how it went. So overall, the 21 days went pretty well. I finished my speed reading course. If you'd like to see the full review of that, you can click up in whatever corner up there. So I was able to finish Stealth War in about 5 hours or so. It's the first time I've ever finished a book in one day, so I'm pretty proud of that. Let's go through some of the productivity techniques that I used along the way. So there was the 5-minute rule, and just as a reminder, that was when you really don't want to do something, promise yourself that after 5 minutes, you can stop. So for me, I don't usually have a lot of trouble starting these tasks. I can jump in with a lot of alacrity and excitement if I have a clear plan of what I'm supposed to be doing. If I didn't have a clear plan of what I was supposed to be editing or writing or whatever, I would just sort of be sitting there in a procrastinative state. And so there were a couple days in the 3 weeks in which I just wasn't keen to do anything. My mood was really down. I was either like hungover or sick. But in hindsight, I think that is when you need to be applying the 5-minute rule. I could have just worked for 5 minutes and then just gone, nah, don't feel like it, and done something else. In all honesty, I don't think I followed this rule as closely as I could have. So I definitely see the utility in implementing the 5-minute rule, and I'll try to do the same in the future. So the 2-minute rule is any task that takes less than 2 minutes to do, you do it immediately. This one I really struggled with, mostly because I found it hard to identify things that took less than 2 minutes. Like my brain just would not see it. So if there was a mug sitting on the table or any other thing that could quickly have been put away, my brain just doesn't recognize those sort of things. So my main trouble was actually identifying these small tasks that needed to be done. So I would actually end up stepping over something like 100 times before realizing, holy crap, I can just clean this up. Because my brain just physically does not realize that this is something that I'm able to do. So I think my main method for keeping my place clean is I do about 10 minutes of cleaning up and tidying every day. Because I've been using this system for a while, the 2-minute rule didn't really apply to me. But just like the 5-minute rule, I can definitely see the utility in this, but I just don't think it's something for me. There was the Pomodoro Method, which is when you had a long stretch of work as you broke it up into 25-minute chunks with a 5-minute break in between. I used this method when I was reading Stealth War and doing some video editing, and I found it to be very helpful. I think that it maintained my focus for a long period of time, and I was able to do at least 3 hours of deep work quite easily, or in this case, I read my book for about 5 hours or so. So one of the more interesting parts of the 21 days was using the time recording app to note down absolutely everything I did during the 3 weeks. I found this very helpful. First of all, it's interesting. It's really interesting to see how much time you spend on each activity. And it's actually really good for limiting your social media use. If you sit down and you dedicate a bit of time, you're like, right, now I'm going to sit down and scroll through social media. I don't feel guilty about it because first of all, I've got a timer to tell me how long I've been on social media for. And secondly, I have dedicated a bit of time in my day to go through social media. And then after a certain amount of time, I'll stop going through that and then carry on with my day. And as you can see, there's a breakdown of exactly what I did and for how long. And again, I wasn't aiming to be working 24/7, so you can see there was a lot of TV watching, but that is an important part of my bedtime routine. And it also didn't help the fact that I also ran out of projects and things to work on. So I think 3 weeks was quite long for this. I probably could have just done 2 weeks or maybe just gone 1 week and just gone really, really hard at it. But I did manage to do a lot of work on my bathroom, and you can see the before and afters now, along with creating a lot of other content for my other YouTube channel. I uploaded a lot of blog posts as well, and overall I did get a lot of stuff done. And the last technique I used was time blocking, so you can see that my days were absolutely filled with lots of different things that I had to get done. And this was awesome because you can feel yourself achieving more as you go throughout the day. You can tick certain things off. And something that I've been told a lot is that when you have something that you need to get done, that you need to remember, you should write it down immediately because your brain is for having thoughts, not for keeping them. Anyway, that about wraps up this 21 weeks of hyperproductivity.
You said 21 weeks.
Fuck. Wrapping up my 21 weeks of hyperproductivity.
You said 21 weeks again.
Did I?
Yeah, twice.
Fuck. Wraps up my 21 days of product. So that wraps up my 21 days of hyperproductivity. Feel free to follow me on my social media or check out my blog. And we'll see you around.